Hello, good morning and welcome back to the channel. I'm really sorry about the noise. There's somebody next door with a grabber truck and it's making a lot of noise. They're picking up a load of rubble, so you'll have to bear with us. I can't do a lot about that. So we left you last week and we'd finished all the carpentry jobs. It's really great to have things finished and we're just loving the way it looks in here. But it's time to move on to some upholstery. So the next job I have planned is to create a kind of thermal blind for this back door, which will replace the curtain we have here now. The doors go out at the side, so any curtain that hangs down tends to look a bit untidy. So I'm hoping I can make something that fits the door. So I feel like I should add a disclaimer here. So years ago, when my kids were small, I did not have much money and somebody gave me a sewing machine. They did not give me any sewing lessons. And between me and myself and this ancient sewing machine, I sat and I worked out how to sew. So I am completely self-taught. So I'm going to run you through this whole process of the things that I'm making for the van. And if there are any seamstresses in the comments who are like, oh, why is she doing it like that? It's because I taught myself. I am prepared to take tips though, so if you have any, check them in the comments. So the idea is today, Stu's going to measure this space here. It's a really big space, so there's no real drawing out a template on tracing paper or anything else. I'm going to do it on a sketch pad, which I have here, and I'm going to plan it all out before I start sewing. So Stu's going to measure the space today, and then I'm going to make a start on designing it out on paper, and then cutting all the fabric and making this back door. We've got some other jobs to do too, but we're going to focus on this one for now. I will show you the fabrics very soon. I'm really pleased, and I'll let you know how I got them so cheap, because they ended up being about a third of the price that I was expecting to pay, which I'm really pleased about. But for now, here's my little template, which I'm going to add the measurements to now. So I have a little sketch pad here. So here is the rectangle for the back door. Steve's going to go measure that now, and then I'm going to add in all the measurements. It narrows at the top, so we'll just measure all the bits and we'll put all the measurements on here, and then I will design each side of the thermal blind in drawing here, and then from there I will sew it, and then it'll start to come together and go up in this space behind us. You going to measure for me, darling?
Morning. Yeah, this week you get a rest from me doing my woodwork. It's all about Kath and her upholstery. Right, go find the tape measure.
If I make him measure and then it doesn't fit, then it's his fault, right?
So, put a little hole in, because I can't hold it all and the drill at the same time.
Got me to hold it all while you hold the drill?
Oh, I could do.
Yeah?
Depends if you can hold it straight or not. Actually, yeah, do it, because then if they go on wonky, it's your fault.
We'll work it out between us, won't we? Pair of self-taught idiots here. Wall to wall, yeah, and I'll add on the extra for the flap. Yes.
Centimetres or inches?
Centimetres, please.
155 across the bottom.
The bottom edge.
From the centre point straight down, gives you an idea
yeah.
of that. Nearest down at 1 metre.
1 metre.
Yeah. Now my suggestion,
yeah,
thinking about it, now we're doing it,
yeah,
is if I mark up points like every 10 centimetres,
yeah,
and then
that's
measure,
what I was going to do,
and then
yeah.
You can build a thingy like that.
Yeah, I was just thinking you might know that it's straight so far up and then it comes in.
It's a gradual
It's a gradual curve, is it?
Where's the straight one? It's not much of a curve, but there is.
Okay, so measure the width across the top first.
Really? You want the top or before it goes over? What you can't see is Kath going like that. I think the dog's farted.
Oh my God!
Bless you, Nudie, bless you. I'm glad I'm outside.
Oh, you need to live outside smelling like that, girl. Gosh. So here you go, it works for me anyway. So this is 155 centimetres across the bottom part of the door, 133 centimetres across the top of the door, and then in the curve here is an extra 5 centimetres where it curves around for the top of the door, and then I want an extra 5 centimetres all the way around the edge to fix it to the frame, but on the bottom I want an extra 7 centimetres to fix it to the metal bar that's down there. So it's 1 metre from drop to drop, and then plus the extras for fixing on the side. So I've got this now, so this is both doors, so now I will design each door because it's going to be 2 panels that are going to come together in a zip. So, but here's my start. So there you go. This is Kath's self-taught sewing class. Do not do as I do. Go and get yourself some lessons.
It's a bit like all the woodwork that I've been doing.
Yeah.
It seems simple until you start doing it, and then you realise you've got to do this before you can do that, and then you've got to do that before you can do this. So yeah, I don't envy you. I'll stick to woodwork, thanks very much.
This is just how sewing projects are. It's not really any different to the woodwork. It's all the things that you've got to think. Like over there, we ended up with one of the cupboard doors that's held on with magnets because we just didn't leave quite enough space for the hinge to open. And sewing work is pretty much the same. You've got to think about all the edges, all the trim, all the little bits that you need to leave over, all the bits that you'll cut, and then you'll sew a hem in, and then you'll lose fabric when you sew the hem in. Yeah, I've learned over the years through trial and error have been things like me making an entire duvet cover that don't fit on the bed and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm hoping this one will go a bit better, and I've learned some lessons over the years. Fingers crossed. And then just like the woodwork, this one will be a bit of a long project. So I'm doing the back door first of all, and then once I finish that, I'm planning on doing other stuff. So I'm going to make some new cushions for our bench seat, just some covers really, because we've already got the cushions. And then the actual bench seat itself will be reupholstered, but it has to be cut first because we shrunk the space, remember? So the guy who made the bench seat for Stu in the first place, I can't remember the name of his business. I'll put it on the screen because he does this professionally. His seat reupholstering is amazing. He's going to cut our bench seat. Hi, Nick. He's going to cut our bench seat cushion for us, and then I'm going to make, he would make it for us, but I can do it. I'm going to make a removable, washable cover that we can just pull off and wash. And then at the front of the van here, where we've got all the carpeted bits, I'm also planning some reupholstery in that bit as well, but we'll see how we go. So if you're one of those people who hate stretch carpet and you're like, oh, I wish I could do it with upholstery, and then people are like, no, you have to do it with stretch is the only one that works, that's why everyone has stretch carpet. Well, would you like to find out if you can do it with something else? Because I think we're going to. Let's show you the fabric then that we're going to be using for this back door. So I've sent Stu outside because the light's a bit better out there, so I'll film from in here and then get him to hold it up in the gap and we can see what we're going to do. I absolutely love this fabric. By the way, so what I wanted was a fabric with a pattern that was available in more than one colour. So I wanted something preferably with birds or nature, because the whole theme of the van was bringing the outside in. And I wanted it so that it had a light background and a dark background, but that limited me to a lot of fabrics, and most of the fabrics I saw that were between £18 and £25 a metre, and to do the whole van it was a lot of money. And then it just so happened that I saw this bed throw on the TikTok shop of all places last week, the week before, and it was reversible. So on one side it's got a dark green background and on the other side it's got a cream background, and I thought that's actually exactly what I want, and it was huge. So the bed throw, the fabric I was looking at was like £20 a metre, and then it was only about 1.5 metres wide, and then this bed throw was 2.5 metres by 2 metres, so even bigger anyway, and then the whole bed throw was £30, so I bought 2 of them, so we've got £60 worth of bed throw that I hope will be a replacement for what was about £200 worth of fabric. So sometimes you just got to think outside the box a little bit. Fingers crossed it works. So yeah, let's have a look at it. Ah, look at that. So that's our dark side. Oh, the sun's reflecting on that. It's quite hard to see. So that's the dark side of the fabric. Come close so we can see the pattern. He's got it up the wrong way, but you can see the birds on there, can't you? So he's got all the birds and the leaves and things. And then So this side, which is the dark side, will be at the top for like the Palmer, and then actually facing into the van will be this side of the fabric, which I think will show the pattern off a little bit more anyway. There you go, which is the light side of the fabric, which has the green and blue birds on it. I absolutely love it. I'm so thrilled with it. It's a really nice thick fabric as well. So, and then on the outside, so we've got, no, I wanted the other fabric, yeah. So I'm going to make the thermal blind. It's going to be 2 layers. So when you're outside the van looking at the thermal blind, you won't be able to see that. What you'll be able to see is this. And I managed to get this quilted fabric, so I didn't have to buy the quilting separately. So that will have this, which is like a nylon quilted fabric. So it's quilted on this side, and then that's on that side. And then that should create this thermal blind effect, both sides, with the zip up the middle, or that it can just be unzipped if we want the back doors open. So there you go, that's our double-sided fabric. So we're gonna have the birds on the inside facing inside, and then the black nylon quilted, which will face onto the outside, which will also be a little bit kind of shower proof as well if you have to open the back doors in the rain, because it's got that kind of shiny effect to it. So Stu's just going to hold this up now so we can see. Oh, look at it, I love it so much. So that is exactly what the thermal blind is going to look like. Now that I'm seeing these birds here facing each other, it's made me realise that I think I probably want that in the middle with the zip in between them, so that we can repeat that pattern nicely. But that will basically be the back wall of the van. How nice is that? I am so thrilled. That's beautiful, love. That's really nice. That's the first time I've seen the fabric up there in position as well, and I have to say I'm so pleased. Yeah, that's brilliant. I really thought it was going to be 200 and odd quid for the fabric, because I don't really want to compromise when we've worked so hard on the van. You want exactly what you want, don't you? So to be able to get that from the TikTok shop, I'm so pleased with. Hello, it is much later. As you've probably seen from our last video, we had a bit of a catastrophe with the dogs, so that's taken a couple of days to sort out. It's all go here, and we're mid heat wave, but today I've been back at the thermal blind design. So I've just drawn up some sketches now so I can see how much I need to cut. So here's the back door behind me. So what we do know is that as it gets further up, the back door gets narrower, and then right at the top it's got quite a big curve, and over the space of 5 centimeters it gets a lot narrower. So what I've done is I've drawn myself up 2 rectangles, and I'm going to cut the fabric for those, and then I'm going to put it up on the back door, and I'm going to work out where I need to trim around the edge, which I think is an easier way than trying to do lots of technical. I've got loads of magnets, so I'm just going to stick the panel literally to the back door, and then I'll just go around and rough trim the edge before I hem it. Well, I've got a rectangle, so theoretically this should be 172 centimeters from there to there, because it's supposed to be 90 and 82 for the 2 panels. Let's measure it and have a look, shall we? Fingers crossed. I can just cut it down the bottom, down the middle, and then we'll magnet it to the back door and use this one as a template to cut the other side. Right, let's measure. This wind is not helping. There we go, let's do the problem solver, come along with some bits of wood. So theoretically now, these 2 should be the left and right panel for the back door, and it does get slightly narrower on that end, but I don't think it's a problem anyway, because the door actually takes shape. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put these up in the door, I'm going to stick it on with magnets, I'm going to trim the edges, and then it's a rather rudimentary way of doing it, but it works fine. And then I'll just use this piece, these 2 pieces then, as a template for the reverse side. So yeah, that's the idea. It's going to plan so far-ish. And while I'm doing that, Stu's just sticking up an extra USB port with the wire that we run to the back and we didn't use because we've put some fairy lights underneath the counter, like over our bed, and they look really cute. But at the moment we keep having to unplug the blink cameras to plug them in. So new USB socket along that end today as well. Well, I've only seen what it looks like up on the back door with some magnets on it, and I already love it. It's going to be so great. And in the winter when we have to get in the garage, usually, like if it's raining, you have to go in the garage or open the back door, and then obviously your bed is right there. So yeah, you're trying to get in there and get things done as quick as you can so things don't get soaking. But this should just give that little layer where it's a little bit rainproof and it really doesn't matter. The actual coat is like puffer jacket material, the fabric, so yeah, that should really help in the winter and for helping to keep the heat in here as well. Yay, so there you go. So this is what I think will be the left hand panel. This bit will face inwards, and then you have to bear with me because it's just pinned together for now, and then this bit here will face outwards. And that's all done and ready to sew. I've just turned it inside out to make sure it's the right way around to make sure it's all right. And I'll turn that over now and sew it. So there you go. Cool. So yesterday we finished off by making one side. None of it's sewn yet. It's all just pinned together. But it's done now, front and back. And then today I had to cut this side from a whole different piece of fabric so that I could get this join in the middle so that the birds join and they face each other. And then here it will be a zip with like a flap over the top. So that's both sides done now, or pinned anyway, and then I've just pinned it together in the centre the way it will be once the zip is in, so that we can now put it up on the door again and just make sure it fits before I start sewing. So, but I'm quite pleased with the way I've managed to join the two bits of fabric so that you've got the birds, because the way the fabric was did not allow you to do it. So I've had a lot of waste fabric because I've had to cut this one from one of the throws and this one from the other throw, so I've just got a big L-shaped bit of fabric left on both, but that's okay because I can do a few cushions out of that. Well, theoretically then, that's one of them. So let's turn it inside out and see what it looks like. I'll turn it the right way round even because I've sewn it inside out. That's the top, yeah, that's the curved corner. There you go. Move this out of the way. Look how much sewing stuff's everywhere. I'm trying to work on the van. So there we go. That is one half. That is the front, and that will be the reverse. So now I've got to do the other side the same as this, and then I've got this edge here which I need to work out how the zip fits in. It can't be that hard, can it? I've no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going to have to sit here with the zip and some pins and work out how it fits in and then sew it. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have done it by the time this goes live, so I can't even ask you for advice. But yeah, there we are. One half. I hope you all like it. Well, that's both sides done. I'm sitting on it. And now I've got the chunky zip I was talking about. So it's a two-way zip. Just like you're buying a woolen or whatever. Zip at the top and the bottom. So you can zip it up or zip it down. Now, how do I get it in there? I don't know what I'm doing, guys. Well, we did it. There's the zip all fixed into one side, so that's fixed into this side. Now we need to pin it into this side, and then once it's pinned on both sides and we've confirmed that it works, then we will be able to stitch it in. So I've had to incorporate asbestos thumbs here into it because it was hurting my fingers to push the pins in.
It hurts me as well. I just don't moan about it.
You're so brave. That's why I keep you around, darling. There we go. Stu's just pinning the top bit there, but I think, I think we're almost there. Ho ho ho! There we go, and that's how it'll look from inside. You can't even see the join in that at the moment. I'm really pleased. Let's hope it holds like that once I've got the hems and things in. I love it. Ha! How cute. Hello. Well, it's a couple of days later and we've come to a campsite in the New Forest. So we're at Ocknell camping in the New Forest. It's a little bargain in the forest. It's run by the Forest Commission and it's only £16 a night. So we've just come here for a bit of respite so that Nala can rest because she's hurt her foot, which I'm sure you'd have seen in the last video. So I'm going to get on with a bit more sewing. I have been doing it outside, but it's really windy today. So I'm inside crammed up on the bed, so let's have a look at where we are so far and then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. So here it is. My last job was to pin the zip in, so we've got both halves of it here and then I've matched the pattern pretty well, I think. So can you see the edge of the fabric here? And then if you can see the pins all the way up, so underneath this is the zip. This is like a really chunky camping zip. So this entire zip is pinned into place to both sides of the blind. I've pinned it all into place. So I'm going to unzip it now. So I have two halves of it and then I'm going to sew this side and then I'm going to come and sew this side. So that'll be both sides of it done. Stu's just seen a stag in the forest. They've literally just run through the campsite. He said there was one run past, but he says there's 4 or 5. Oh, look at them. Oh, they're beautiful. Wow.
Straight at me. How amazing. This is why I love the New Forest. So I've sewn the zip in. That took a remarkable amount of... I'm saying nothing, I'll sit out there and play on my phone. A remarkable amount of unpicking and going back on myself, but I did get there in the end. And we are there and it does work. So, there we go. And it's a double zip, so it can be unzipped from both ways. Now all I have to do is turn this flap of fabric into like a little flap, tidy flap there to hide the zip. So So that's the next step.
Hello, it's a new day. I'm so excited. I couldn't wait to come and tell you. I've bought a pot plant. I've wanted one for so long, and Stu's like, oh, I can't have a pot plant in the van. It's a silly idea. I'll have to move it every time, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, we've got one. I bought one today. He let me have it. He lets me have what I want eventually. Do you want to see what we're going to do? We got a little plan. So we bought a pot plant today, so it's something that like trailing or can be kind of pinned up. It'll be fixed in one place, so we're not going to have to worry about it falling over or moving it or putting it in a safe place every time we move. Because I'm with Stu, I like the fact that we've got everything organised in the van and we don't have to do that whole pack down before we drive off. We can literally just pull up somewhere and put the kettle on, and we want to stick with that. So we were looking for a pot, so we bought the plant, and then show us the plant, and then we were looking for a pot that would fix against the wall, so we had to think a bit sideways here, but it did work. So here we go. So here's the plant. I can't remember what they're called. Oh, I can't even say that. Shall I try anyway? Epipremnumorium? One of those. Anyway, we've seen them, I'm sure. They trail, you can like pin them to the ceiling. So that's the plant. Obviously it won't be staying in that pot. So, and then we looked for a pot that we could fix to the wall that would stay flat, but we didn't manage to find one. But we went into B&M today and they've got a whole section of like fake plastic plants. So we bought this fake plastic plant, which actually is quite pretty on its own. Not keeping the fake plastic plant, we're going to take all this out of here and we're going to reuse the pot, which as you can see is completely flat on the back and curved on the front. See that? There you go. So that will be flat against the wall, and then we'll reline this pot once we've pulled all that out. It's mostly just polystyrene under that lot, and then we'll put the plant in there, and then Stu's going to put it over there for me, which I'm really, really pleased about. Also on the list today, hold me accountable, I'm wearing this t-shirt. If I'm wearing another one, I didn't get round to it today, is to finish off the thermal blind. So that's the plan today. And then Stu's also making some noises about starting with the Dremel on some of the rust spots. So still plenty of content to come. Hopefully you're not bored of us yet. And whoo, gosh, it's a scorcher today. Way too hot to be doing stuff around the van.
Here's where the plant's gonna go. Originally we had our coat hooks on this wall and it was a pain in the ass because we kept walking into them. So we've moved the coat hooks to there, so they're now out of the way. But we reckon if I shorten the rope, it will sit here. We'll put a bit of Velcro on the back to stop it swinging around when we're driving. And then eventually, as it grows, I think the plan is to trail the leaves up around the mirror and down the side.
Yeah, that's the idea.
If we keep walking into it and keep breaking it, then we'll think again.
Yeah.
We'll get rid of it.
Yeah, that's the plan. And this part of the van, because as regular viewers will probably know, we don't have a huge amount of windows in here because we try and do as much as we can to keep the van cool enough for the dogs. So it was designed so that it would be cool and shady in here. But this one part of the van is probably the part that gets the most natural light, because we have the door here and we have the door open all summer virtually. And even when it's shut, there's a big window in it. And then we also open the bulkhead during the day, which allows a certain amount of natural light to come through.
Will it work? Will we kill it? I don't know. Let's wait and see. We'll keep you updated in future videos as well. Yeah, pot plants in a van.
I know a pot plant. Happy girlfriend.
I'm one little happy Kath.
I am very happy. Yeah, I've really been like racking my brains as to how we could get a house planted here for quite a while. So I'm really pleased, and Stu was adamant it wouldn't work and that earth would spill out, and all the practical reasons that it will probably be a bad idea, but he's humoured me, so we'll see how it goes. I love it. I'm going to put my adage into place. For a lot of years I used to be a perfectionist, and it used to stop me doing anything, because if I couldn't be perfect at it, then I never used to do it. And actually I've learned over the years, whether it's with writing or sewing or anything else, that done is better than perfect. And it's kind of become an adage of mine, because so many of us seek perfection and it paralyzes us and it stops us from doing anything because we think we're not very good at it. Well, for one, the whole world lies to us. You have to do things to get good at them. If you do something, you're bad at it, that's normal. That's completely normal, because practice makes perfect. So don't you know, don't be put off doing things because you're not going to be good at them, because you're not going to get good at them until you've done them. So it is all a lie. That we see it all the time. You go onto TikTok and social media and you see people practicing skills and things and they're perfect and you think, oh, I'd never be able to do that, but you're never seeing them practice and learn. So yeah, and you have to be bad at something before you can be good at it. Yes, we might all have a bit of natural talent, but do you know what? Talent is a blunt instrument. It needs inspiration and it needs wherewithal. You need to just go, I'm going to do this. So it's not perfect, but it is done, and done is better than perfect. Hello. Yes, it's the next day. So I finished the whole blind yesterday, just some trimming and finishing off to do, and now today it's sticking it on the door frames time. So what we're doing is we bought Velcro brand, well worth the investment, to pay the extra by the way, because it's so sticky and the teeth are so good. They're much better than the cheap ones. Stu's now washed all the way down around the door frame and let that dry. Didn't take long to dry in this heat today. And now he's sticking the teeth side, which is the hardest side of the Velcro, all the way around the frame, and then I will sew the felt side to the blind, and then it will just go up there and sit in place. So let's have a look how he's doing. Unfortunately, they were both rolled together, so here's the felt side, which Stu's just having to unroll into an unravelled mess. Would have been definitely better if they were separate. So we chose the white so that you really can't see it on the frame at all, but it doesn't matter anyway because the thermal blinds will be permanently in place. So we started here, so this is our bed frame here. So we started here and then we've run, it's a bit hard to see, I'm sorry, and then we've run it all the way up, and Stu's just working his way around the top now. So if you can see here, he's had to nip a little V out of the corner there, just so that he can get it around the corner because it was kinking. So he's doing that now. And then again, these bits here, the door clips, that's probably going to require him to cut a little bit out of the Velcro there as well. We used that same Velcro yesterday to hold up the houseplant that's in the van, so we will keep what's left over because it's really handy for holding things into place. So we like to have a setup that doesn't require us to put lots of things away, so we don't need to pack down before we move on. So that means that we're always looking for ways to fix things in place so that we're not having to move everything before we move on, because otherwise it becomes a hassle, and that of course is one of the drawbacks of having a camper van. So things like our butter dish are held down by a magnet, and there's a little washer on the bottom of the butter dish. Our little egg house is held on by Velcro, just like that. Our houseplant is held on by Velcro, and we will save the last metre or two of Velcro for little jobs like that as we want to fix things into place. So we've done the easy bit now, which is putting the teeth on, but now we need to put the soft side onto the thermal blinds, make sure it's all lined up properly, and then I need to sew the bits of Velcro into place to make sure that the blind lies nice and flat and isn't kind of hanging or bulging or gaping anywhere. So here we go then, moment of truth. There you go, and that's how it looks on the inside.
And I'll tidy up that midsection there, because that's where you haven't sewn the Velcro
That's
in.
just the Velcro, isn't it? I'll sort out those little finishing touches when I do it in a couple of days.
But it's up, and I think it looks bloody brilliant. I'm so impressed.
So that's it then, another reno job done. We really are giving the van a good going over this year. We started with the engine and some essential maintenance jobs, new prop shaft and all the rest of it, and then we've whipped out the inside. You can go back and watch the whole series on YouTube if you like. Stu's doing some of the rust patches now, but for today I am finished sewing. There are more jobs to be done and I will be getting to them. But here it is, one thermal blind. We looked at them online and they were about £350, and I made this one for, if you bear with me a second, I'll actually work it out. So it was £34 for the throws and I had to buy two, so that was £68. It was £22 for the Velcro, so that's £90. I think it was about £20 something for the black fabric that went on the back, which takes it up to £110, and then the zip was £10. So it was all done for about £120. Obviously I have the sewing box and the sewing machine, so I didn't have to buy any cottons or anything like that. So yeah, so one thermal blind for around £120. It would have been a lot more expensive if I'd have bought the fabric by the metre, but because I bought a bed throw and just chopped it up, 2 bed throws and chopped them up, that made it a little bit cheaper. Yeah, good on the TikTok shop, eh? So there we go. I mean, just without even the styling and stuff, just to have this back light instead of dark green like it was before has made a huge difference to the van, and it makes a real feature in here. My sewing is far from perfect, but all in all, I'm very, very happy with the job well done. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope my calamities have been amusing at least. I'm sorry to any seamstresses who've watched this literally tearing their hair out, wishing they could give me some advice. And we're going to draw this video to a close here. So we will see you next week for the next video. Please do give us a like, and please leave me a comment down below. I'd really like that. And if you haven't already, give our channel a subscribe. And if you're here for the travel content, we will be hitting the road again eventually. We just have a lot going on in the UK at the moment, and we really need to get the van trip ready for our next trip. The more trips we go on, you learn that you need to make some adjustments for the van for future trips. So we're going to be getting on with this Reno series for a little while longer, but we will be hitting the road again eventually. See you next week. Bye.